Wesleyan Wannabe says, looking at Ephesians 5:31, should a Christian man move out of his parents' house before trying to date to prove they can provide an income and a house? Ephesians 5:31. Here's the text. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Okay, so this is a quote from Genesis, that a man will leave his father and mother. Is it a statement that applies? Okay, it's not directly about moving out of your house before you start dating. I think, okay, let me tell you what I think it is about, and then we'll try to apply it to the question you have. So I think what this is about is the man's leaving one family and he's starting a new family, and his allegiance and his focus is on his new family. Okay, so he's not about when there's a conflict, I'll put it this way, between the well-being of his parents versus his wife and kids, he chooses his wife and kids. This is his family, his primary concern now. Before that, he would need to choose his parents. Now, this doesn't mean he casts off his parents and, oh, I don't have to help you, I'm married now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if there was that extreme situation, let's say that your mom keeps ragging on your wife. Oh, she this and that, and she's always ragging on your wife and causing all sorts of conflict in your home because your mom is constantly ragging on your wife and you're in the middle of it. In those moments, you have to say, I'm gonna pick my wife. You can't come in here and do this, Mom. I'm picking my wife. And I love this. Like my mom's great with this, right? She knows that, not that there's things to complain about. Don't read into this more than what I'm saying, but she knows not to sit and complain and gripe about my wife, because she knows that my allegiance is to my wife, right? And my wife also doesn't gripe and complain about my mom, so that's the thing. Don't get weird about it. But you get what I'm saying? That there's a sense in which there's a leaving of a leave and cleave thing, right? Leave father, mother, hold fast to wife, two become one flesh. This to me says that the priority and the focus and the familial commitment is between husband and wife above that which is there between son and parents. I think that would also apply to women. Okay, women are, well, it says the man will leave father, but doesn't say the woman has to leave father. I think that you're causing trouble when you say stuff like that, but I think you missed the point. Does it mean that a guy has to move out of his parents' house in order to demonstrate that he has enough financial ability to take care of his wife? That wasn't something that seems to be standard in the ancient world. This isn't something that they would have necessarily read into it. You may well have stayed in your parents' home very close to the time until you got married. You might have actually still lived in the same home. There might have been a multifamily home, and nobody, I think, would have looked at that and thought badly of it. So I just think this is a bit, it's not like it's bad if a guy moves out of his parents' house and has to prove he can provide. That's a good thing, but I wouldn't make it a necessity. Imagine telling poor people they can't get married, right? Because they're living in poverty, and while they're doing everything they can to provide, maybe they're not living in the U.S. with all the opportunities I've got. Maybe they're living down in Mexico, where we would go down with groups from our church and build little tiny, what you would consider as a sad, tiny little house that was so much better than the cardboard and aluminum they had just leaned up against each other that they were using for their homes before. This is where it makes it difficult. And I want to have grace to people and say, yeah, a guy needs to try to provide and take care of his family. Woman also has to try to provide to her best as well, but I don't want to make too hard of a rule that doesn't apply, that Scripture doesn't clearly teach and doesn't apply well across different sort of financial environments.